Welcome back to Garden Preserve. I'm Carter and I'm so glad you're here today. I have a lot of projects I want to get done. We're just coming off the pantry challenge and it's time I get back in preservation mode. So I've got several things I want to accomplish. I'm going to make some chili, both for our dinner tonight, and then that's eventually going to go in the freeze dryer. I have some rotisserie chicken. I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to can that or freeze dry it. We shall see. I have some turkey. I think I'd like to freeze dry that. I have a bunch of garlic. I would like to get that chopped up and into the freezer. So we're going to see what all I can get done today. In the meantime, I brought my box down. Of course, I forgot to bring my list down, but I'm going to do the best I can to get what I need to make the chili, and I need some chicken broth just in case I do decide to can the rotisserie chickens. I'm going to get this upstairs. I'm going to get you upstairs. Oh, one thing I did yesterday was I cracked 5 dozen eggs because I finally found some available. So I cracked 5 dozen eggs, and those have been in the freezer overnight, pre-freezing for the freeze dryer. So I'm going to go turn on the freeze dryer so that I can get those loaded up. Okay, got the eggs out of the freezer. They are pre-frozen. I'm going to get them into the freeze dryer. I'm going to just show you. Let me see if I can do this. My freezer tilts. So when I pour the eggs in, they don't quite go all the way up in the back, but that's okay. So this has been cooling down. I turned it on, looks like 21 minutes ago, so it's ready to go. Ooh, these trays are so cold. Yikes. Okay, I've got to close the drain valve. There we go, that's good to go. So this batch of eggs, this is the second batch of eggs I've done since I've had my freeze dryer. The first one I didn't put any salt in, and have since learned that you should put salt in. So I did 1 teaspoon of salt for every dozen eggs. So we'll see how that does. Apparently it helps them reconstitute better. All right, let's get downstairs. I've decided I'm going to can and freeze dry some rotisserie chicken. We just go through that stuff like crazy. All right, let's get started down here now. I have the eggs in the freeze dryer. I have the oven on because I'm going to cook the ground beef for the chili in there. I have the ground beef sitting out, coming to room temperature. You can see all the eggshells I have over here from cracking the eggs for the freeze dryer yesterday. Those were in the oven, and they've been whatever it is you have to do to them before you put them in the garden. So that is what I've done, and they're going to go in the compost pile. Got a big pan out for the ground beef, and then I have about 4 pounds or so of rotisserie chicken. I'm not a big fan of the tendons and things, so I have a little jar that I'm preparing for the animals that will be full of tendons, which is great for them. And let's go. I'm going to do in the jars first, so we're going to can first. I'm going to do, I don't know, 6 jars. I have 8 out. I'm not sure how many jars I'm going to do. We're going to see how much I get through of this, because I do want to make sure I get some freeze dried. That for the broth. And I need that for the broth. And I need a debubbler. All right. So let's just start getting some chicken in here. I'm going to leave them in really big pieces in here because I think they do a lot better. We have gone through almost all of the last batch of rotisserie chicken that I canned. I really like the consistency when it comes out. As I mentioned before, you know, I know that the ingredients are not exactly as I would prefer them to be. However, sometimes easy is just really, really good. I'm going to get as much in here as I can while still leaving room for broth, because I do like to can this with broth. Okay, so that's pretty good. I'm kind of going through this chicken. I wonder if I'm going to have enough to freeze dry. All right, that's 4. I think I'll do 2 more. The oven is preheated, so as soon as I get the chicken finished, we'll get that going. Okay, that's going to be my 6 jars. Do that. Before I fill those up, I'm going to get the rest of the chicken on a tray. I do break these up into slightly smaller or thinner pieces, just so that they don't take forever to freeze dry, and so I know everything is done properly. I think I'm going to do at least 1 more jar. Some big hunks in here that I hate to break up if I don't have to. Okay. This will all go on here. Okay, this will go in the freezer to prep for the freeze dryer, and then it'll be part of the load that goes in as soon as the eggs are done. So let's get some chicken broth in these jars. All right, let's debubble. Get down in there. Okay, I have a big mess to clean up, so let me get the vinegar. You can certainly add salt, pepper, garlic powder, whatever else you want to add to these. I tend not to do that, so I can make that decision when I'm serving them, depending on how I have seasoned everything else. also pulled out from the freezer the other day one of those prepared turkey breast things from Costco. So that's defrosted. I'm going to dice that up for the freeze dryer. My thought is that it is a quick and easy protein to rehydrate to top a salad, like a chef salad with some hard-boiled eggs and some diced ham and turkey and some cheese. So I'm now out of, I think, diced freeze-dried ham, so I need to do that as well. Okay, these are ready to go in the canner. I'm going to get them in and to get that out to the freezer, clean up a bit, and then we're going to turn our attention to the chili because I'm really excited about that one for dinner. All right, I was in the pantry putting away a couple of meats that I grabbed downstairs to bring upstairs, and I realized I don't think you've ever been in my kitchen pantry. So while I'm here with you, I'm going to go ahead and pull the spices that I'm going to need for the chili. So some of it is out there already. I need ancho, chili powder. I think what I used last time was chipotle and ancho because my chili powder is outrageously hot. So that's what I'm going to do this time. Garlic powder. This is some homegrown freeze-dried garlic powder. Cumin is in the kitchen already. Paprika. Salt is in the kitchen already. Worcestershire. Molasses. You're going to have to hold some of this. Hang on. Okay, molasses and allulose. Okay, I think we're good in here. Okay, let's get the meat in the pan. I'm going to do it in a roaster pan in the oven. I think I mentioned that. And I'm using 6 pounds. The original recipe calls for 5. Doesn't matter to me. I've got 6 pounds defrosted, so that is what I'm going to use. All right, in we go. I find it a little bit more cumbersome to do it this way. However, it does allow me to get the rest of the chili underway without the constant stirring of the meat. Okay. Now let's take a look at the recipe and see what else I'm missing. 1 jumbo onion. Oh goody, always love dicing an onion on camera. I think I have everything else. Oh, the better than bouillon I need to get out of the fridge. That's it, let me get an onion. All right, nothing in there that qualifies as a jumbo onion, so I'm going to use 3 smaller ones. Okay. This chili is so good. I don't know if you've tried it yet. When I did the canning video with it, I think the video is like beans or no beans. Yeah, so it's like the beans or no beans video. But this chili is just excellent. But the chili base itself is so good. I think I'm going to can that by itself this year too, and I have some fresh tomatoes. All right, and I'm going to get the onions in, check on the meat. Meat's doing fine. So onions in. Oops. Oh, onions all over the floor. All right, so I'm going to let the onions go until they are translucent. And then we'll get the seasonings added in. Which ought to be a lot of fun. It's all of that. All of that is going in my chili. My onions are looking pretty translucent, so let's get some seasonings in. Now, 1/4 cup of chipotle. Actually, I'm using chipotle. The recipe actually calls for regular chili powder. But again, as I said, mine is so hot. It smells delicious. I'm going to go a little shy on all of these until I can taste everything. And paprika, 1/4 cup of that. Come on. Ancho. Oh, that smells good. It smells hot though, so I'm not going to go quite a 1/4 cup. I'm going to get cumin in there to toast as well. I think I need 3 tablespoons of that. Yeah. write the recipe down below. We need 4 teaspoons divided of salt. I like to salt each piece, so I'm going to put 2 teaspoons on the ground beef when it comes out and 2 teaspoons here with the onions. Let's get some liquid in there before this thing starts to stick. All right, that's 1. I need 5. 2. 'All right, it's clearing out over here. All right, now it asks for fire roasted diced tomatoes. I don't have any of those, but I do have these commercial diced tomatoes, and I think I'm just going to use those. Ooh, what I do have is, this is left over from something I made the other night. Anyway, well, it's left over from a lot of different things. It's a huge jar, but I'm going to throw those in, not in the recipe, but I've got them, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of them. So we'll get these tomatoes in. Already looks so good. Turn it up just a little bit. All right, let's go ahead and dump in the air roasted green chilies. Love these things. Okay, oops. Making quite the mess behind me here. All right, tomato sauce. I have 1 jar of commercially canned. One jar of home canned. This one actually has some seasonings in it, but it'll be just fine. Tomato paste I'll save for a bit. Oh, let's get the garlic powder in. I forgot about that. 1.5 teaspoons or more. And this chicken broth that was left over from canning the rotisserie chicken, I'm going to put that in here too. All right, come on over, see where we are. All right, that's how we're looking. It smells fantastic. Look at my mess I have. Can you see that right there? Yikes. All right, let's check on the hamburger. I think this is looking pretty good. Okay. this chopped up a bit. Let me show you what I'm in the process of doing. You know how the story came out, I don't know, not too long ago about black plastic, right? And don't use black plastic. I forget exactly what it has in it now. Maybe recycled tires or something. I'm not sure, but not good stuff. So, you know how I love that. I love it so much I have not gotten rid of it yet. But I have been getting rid of the black plastic. So I am trying, this is the potato masher. I'm going to see if my potato masher will take the place of that for the ground beef. I've done a lot of other things that I've replaced as well. I had some black plastic utensils, a few of those. I've replaced those. This is silicone, not plastic up there. What else have I replaced? Oh, my cutting boards. I had some plastic cutting boards. I've replaced those with washable wood cutting boards. And I've replaced my baking sheets, both the half cake pan sheet, whatever, half sheet, I guess that's what you call it, jelly roll pan, whatever you want to call it. And the smaller one I've replaced with stainless steel pans. I had aluminum pans. So, you know, I'm working on it. You could just do a little bit at a time, or at least I find I can do a little bit at a time. Ooh, this is the other thing that I replaced. I know it sounds like a lot, but it's actually been going on over the past few months. I got a cast iron, a little like crepe pan here to replace my one that is non-stick that I just, you know, I always worry about it getting scratches. Oh yeah, this is going to work fine. Now, let me get this back in the oven for a little bit longer. Okay, 2 minutes left of venting on the canner. Before that, we'll start its processing time. And that chicken is in there for 75 minutes because I use pints. And I'm using the electric Presto canner. Let me turn that up a little bit more. Okay, so I still have Worcestershire, a little bit of salt to salt that meat, molasses, and the tomato paste, and the allulose to put in here. So I'm just going to let that kind of cook down for a little bit until the beef is ready, and I'm going to try to start cleaning up this mess. Let's show you what I'm planning for the chili. So as I said, we're going to eat it tonight for dinner, probably, I don't know, for lunch the next day or two, and then whatever's left I'm going to throw in the freeze dryer. And then I'm going to store it in a little jar, a pint-sized jar, so it's like a single serving. This is beef stroganoff that I did in December. So it has been freeze-dried. I don't know if you can see it, there's a little oxygen pack in there. And I also vacuum sealed the lid. And so when David wants to have beef stroganoff, which is his favorite but not mine, he can just take out that little oxygen absorber and rehydrate it, a combination of water and coconut milk, or just all a light version of coconut milk, but you can certainly use whatever it is that you want. But this has been a terrific thing to have on the shelf, and it is so light and so easy. So that is my plan for the chili. I think it's going to be a good one. All right, the meat is almost ready, so let's go ahead and get in the last of these seasonings that need to go in the chili base. So I need 3 tablespoons, I think. Yeah, 3 tablespoons of the Better Than Bullion. So I've got about 1 in this jar. Come on. 2. That's a big one. 3. All right, 6 tablespoons of tomato paste. I'm just going to go ahead and use the whole thing. Let's see. Yeah. some of the things in there to cut the heat a little bit. So the apple cider vinegar, I forgot to tell you about that one earlier. I'll get that in. Let me do the Worcestershire first. 4 tablespoons of this. I'm just going to pour some. 1, 2, 3, 4. Close enough. And apple cider vinegar, 2 tablespoons of that. One, 2. Now, let's get the molasses in there. Probably going to do a little more than I did before because it's pretty spicy. So that is about a tablespoon. I think I used a teaspoon when I did this before. I'll go with a tablespoon this time. And some allulose. I'm going to go with that. Maybe turn the oven off because the meat is pretty much ready. The canner has started its processing time, so that's all good. So when I pull this meat out, I'm not going to strain it and do away with the fat. I'll probably cook something else in the fat later, especially from grass-fed ground beef. I just can't bring myself to throw it away, but I don't want to put it in this pot because I'm going to be freeze drying, and that'll just shorten its lifespan. Okay. All right, let me get the meat out. I need to season it with salt. All right, let me get a strainer. Okay, that'll be drained and ready to go. Let's see how my big batch is doing here. I want this to cook down quite a bit more, I think, before I add the meat to it. Let me give it a taste. Ooh, it's really good. It's got like how spicy it is. All right, I'm going to add some salt to this ground beef as well. Oh, wow. Making my eyes water. It's good though. All right, I'm going to clean up a bit and let this cook down, get everything put away. And what's next? We need to start slicing that turkey. Get that on the freeze dryer trays. It's time to get the meat into the chili, and then I'll just let it simmer for a while and we'll move on to our next project. Now, I moved this into this dish, and now it's going to be not very graceful, I think. Let's see if I can do this without making a huge mess. So far, so good. All right. That looks awesome. All right, so I'm going to turn that down to a simmer and just let it kind of do its thing for a while. Let's get this mess out of the way. All right, this is the turkey breast I have. I'm hoping it's completely defrosted by now. We're going to find out. All right, I don't need this, and I don't need this. So let's think about the size cubes I want. It's going in a salad. I think that's good. I think I can get all of this on the 4 remaining trays. So I think I can pile it a little bit, which would be good. Ugh. Let me clean up my mess just a little bit because I don't want this turkey going into the freeze dryer soaking wet. All right, let's get this chopped up now. I mentioned earlier about replacing all of my black plastic and some aluminum pans and that kind of stuff. Black plastic is kind of I think it's a new kind of warning that's out there. So I didn't mean to freak anybody out. I will put a link to some information about it down below so you can decide for yourself if it is anything that you want to worry about. It's chopped up. So the goal is to do this with ham as well. And then we could just really have a chef salad anytime we want. I don't always rehydrate everything before I use it, but I would definitely rehydrate this because I don't think that the salad dressing would be enough to do it properly. Oh yeah, I may have plenty of extra space on the freeze dryer. I have to find something else to add to this freeze dryer run. I'm going to have plenty of room left. That's what I've done so far. right, I'm gonna have one tray left. Thinking I'm gonna do some trial cheese runs. I have some grated Pecorino Romano. I think I'll try some of that. And then I think I'll shred a little bit of cheddar because I'm gonna need that for the chili tonight anyway. So I'll go ahead and put some of that on there as well. I know that it supposedly freeze dries very well. However, I'm just not sure how I would use it from that state, or if I would use it from that state. So I'm not going to do very much. It's more of a test to see what I'm going to do with it. All right, I'll have that whole last tray for the cheese. David doesn't like these little ends, so I think that'll be my lunch. Okay, I'm gonna get these into the freezer, get my board cleaned up, my hands cleaned up, and then we'll get onto the cheese and fill that last tray. I forgot to turn the camera back on, but I did put some pre-grated Pecorino Romano on here. Now I've put down paper towels in case it is greasy. Give the grease someplace to go. So I don't know, I'm a little trepidatious about particularly this powdery stuff. I am gonna pre-freeze it, but I don't know, it just seems like something that's gonna go flying around my freeze dryer. So what I may do is put a layer of paper towel over that as well. I don't know, we'll see. I will have done it by the time you see this. Hopefully I figured out exactly what to do. This is some goat's milk cheddar cheese. So I'm gonna shred up a little block of this and put it on there. So if you have freeze-dried cheese, I'd love to know what you use it for and how you rehydrate it. I don't know, I just have a hard time imagining how I would use it, except, you know, throwing it in a quiche or a frittata or scrambled eggs or something like that, and then let the eggs rehydrate it. That I think would be fine. But you know, I don't do a lot of casseroles. I could see that working out well. In fact, I don't do any casseroles, really. So I don't know. If you've got some ideas on that, let me know. Let's see how much room this is going to take up. Okay. All right, these are my cheese tests. I will be sure to let you know how it goes. But I'm going to get this in the freezer and then get some more cheese shredded up for dinner. I'll try to remember to take a picture of our bowl of chili tonight. I'm just going to let this simmer for a little while longer. I may end up adding some more tomato paste. I don't know. We'll see. I like kind of a thick chili, but we'll see how that goes. Anyway, the garlic. You know, we didn't get to the garlic, and you know what? Now I have used all of my trays that I would have done the flash freeze and used up, quite frankly, all the space I have in the freezer to do that. So I think I'll put the garlic on my next list. So when the eggs come out, I'll have some free trays, and these will get out of the way in the freezer, and then I'll do the garlic.